the self is a symbol of your potential, among very many other things. But by engaging in this sort of impulsive, destructive activity, Lampwick and Pinocchio are making it impossible for them to further their development. And they're doing that to some degree consciously. You know, they basically say to hell with it and toss a brick through this highest ideal, the thing through which light shines. So also that harkens back to the star as well. And he calls these people out of the darkness, these creatures out of the darkness. So you get these black, you can hardly see them there, but they're black cloaked figures with glowing eyes, and they're shutting the door of the amusement park. Here's the postmodern world. It's the Hobbesian nightmare. It's everyone against everyone else, except it's not individuals, it's groups. And you're stuck in your damn group, and it's the only thing about you anyways that's relevant, which is why we might base our hiring on it, for example. And you're oppressed, and even if you don't know it, it's only because you've internalized it, and it's the only thing that's real about you anyways. And I can't talk to you because I'm in my own little silo of privileged belief, and besides we can't use logic because that doesn't exist, and so you're in a group and I'm in a group, and all we can do is have a war. Or we can talk, but we don't get to talk because you can't talk if you're a postmodernist, because speech is just chatter. So when it's just chatter that supports the people in power, that's how they think. And so the whole world is this little armed war of identity group against identity group against identity group. And you shut down people who don't agree with you, because why should you let them talk? You don't believe in any of the reasons why you would let someone talk. So this isn't accidental. It's not because they're afraid, although it's also because of that. They hijack, you know, fear. They hijack compassion. They make anyone who puts forward an alternative view into a terrorist of ideas, and someone who's heartless at the core, which is really incredibly intelligent. It's such a good strategy. It's so devious and brilliant, and it's so effective. Who the hell wants to be labeled a bigot? You probably are a damn bigot, just like everyone else. That's what's going on. And so what do you do about it? Well, I don't know what you do about it, but I have a theory, and that's one I've been working on for like 40 years, and it's kind of a form of its own parody in some sense. It's like, well, I'm oppressed. It's like, yeah, you are. There's a big problem here. The problem is, it's true. So you don't want to be someone like that. Now, do you have a reason to be? Yes! You have lots of reasons to be. God, there's reasons to be resentful about your existence. Everyone you know is going to die. There's this idea that hell is a bottomless pit, and that's because no matter how bad it is, some stupid son of a bitch like you could figure out a way to make it a lot worse. So Pinocchio, he decides that chaos is better than tyranny, and guided by his conscience, jumps into the water. And then we don't see anything happening in the water in this particular scene. They come back to shore all half drowned and exhausted by their adventure, and they go back home.
Dr. Brown, you've talked about non-monetary orders that could include sanctions, like orders to undertake sensitivity and anti-bias training.
Well, I have a profound objection to undergoing such training. In fact, I would flatly refuse under all conditions to undergo it. And the reason, there's multiple reasons for that. The first reason is that the science surrounding the so-called charge of implicit bias that's associated with perception is by no means settled. And even the more pro-IAT researchers who developed the test have admitted to that publicly, even though they haven't stressed it nearly to the degree they should have. And I can say that as a clinician because I know and as a psychometrician, I know the criteria for using a test for essentially diagnostic purposes, and the IAT doesn't even come close to what's necessary. People don't like being brought in front of a re-education committee and having their fundamental perceptions, you see, their perceptions, not even their thoughts, but their perceptions themselves, altered by collective fiat. It's an unbelievable...
Thank you there, sir. We have a very engaged committee, concise questions and concise responses with the helpful Senator Pratt.
Does it depress you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are? Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were. But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever. To them, you're just a freak. Like me. They need you right now. When they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper. See, their morals, their code, it's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
So, what happened? Well, I made some videos and I got to the bottom of some things, at least as far as I can tell, so I told you what the bottom is, and then I got this idea about what you might do about it, which isn't my idea. It's not my idea. It's an old idea. It's far older than Christianity. It's old. It's the oldest story of mankind. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Make the suffering in the world less. Well, that's the way forward, as far as I can tell, if there is any way forward. And that's what's under assault by the postmodernists. So look out, because they know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly why they're doing it. And that's what it looks like to me. So, that's it.